Well, welcome everybody. Sunday Adelaja here, Kiev, Ukraine. Nice to see. I'm going to be the first person to be greeted today. Let's see. Lanon Adebayo Island. Ooh, 173 people already. Amazing. Mofe Lola, Olagbegi, Bobo, South Africa, Layo Shaus. By the way, Layo, I'm just seeing your message. I will try and reach you after maybe the broadcast tonight or tomorrow. I've been busy with some visitors here. Fleck Karim Matip, France. Eric Osadolo, Lola Shoronke, California. Adeleke Adeneye, Obina Ofoshuku, Daniel Atsenga, Yomi Jegede, Kike Adetiba, Alice Obaze, Charles Smith. Welcome everyone. Aneta Whitaker, welcome. Anujo, welcome. Olukayo Dekundayo, Jot Idowu, welcome. Adiola Disu, Shola Lamodi, Akimbo Dunse, Josh Clinton, Dayo Obishesa, welcome. Elizabeth Ali, welcome back. You've been away. Nek Afias Lola, Blessindra, Loke De Jong, blessings. T.Y. Sonny Wabuno, Ola Martin, Anastasia McDonald, Neki Okoro. Well, here we are. Eric Nje. Well, it's let's start. Let's start on time. And we do what we normally do. I would like to ask you to go ahead and share the link for this program. Let's go share the link. Look for your link share button. It should be under the video down there. Look for the share button and please go ahead and share it. Go ahead and share the message and make sure you write something there. Make sure you write something for your friends who will be looking and watching through your timeline. So yeah, say some things to them, tell them some few words about the messages and what they have been doing for you, and why they should go ahead and watch it. Well, today's message is a continuation of what we started in the morning, and it's a question of real life question. Why this whole week we are talking of why love turns to hate, or why love becomes hatred, why love turns to hate. So why would love turn to hate? At least among people who say they love themselves or who started out loving each other, why would love turn to hate? Well, this morning I gave one of the hypothesis of why I think love will turn to hate eventually. And tonight I want to give you another argument why I think that love turns to hate. So today's message is love turns to hate to preserve you from idol worshiping. Love turns to hate to preserve you from idol worshiping. Sometimes when God is doing good, we think he's doing evil. So sometimes we would need to sacrifice the thing that we are taught is the most precious things in our life just for us to be right with God. Sometimes, as a matter of fact, God will allow us to suffer losses. And God might even allow us to suffer losses of some of the most precious things in our lives for us to just be able to understand God's mindset as against our mindset. You know, the way things are supposed to be run on the earth is by laws and principles. So when you break the laws and principles, you know, your cries won't help, your tears won't help, your emotions won't help. You just must align yourself to God's principles and laws. So life is meant to be lived and to function by principles, and principles of truth and grace, by laws, by principles. But we, even though we are religious, and even though we are Christians, we are religious, we are pastors, we are ministers, but we often break God's principles. We violate these principles. But because we violate the principles, and God will not violate himself, and he will not violate his own principles, sometimes he's left with no option. He's left with no option other than to let us suffer pain, to let us go through pain so as to bring us back to order. You see, God is a God of order. And order in the eyes of God means abiding by the principles that the earth is meant to function by. Order, in God's understanding, is that we, as his children that were created by him to live on the earth, must also live in accordance with his own order and principles. We must abide under his truth and under his righteousness. And that when we live according to his principles, that is when things run well for us. That's how things work out for us. But when we violate his principles, we don't really violate God. You cannot really break God's law. When instead of breaking God's law, we end up breaking ourselves. So God really doesn't have anything to do with punishment. People talk about God punishing you, God doing this for you, to you. Well, what we call God punishing us is actually the laws punishing us. The laws that are broken are the consequences that we reap. We only get the consequences of broken laws. We get the consequences of broken principles. And when the principles are broken, we reap the consequences, and we say God is punishing you. No, God is not sitting down in heaven with a tall, with a long cane, and he didn't put all his angels everywhere and making all the angels to look who to punish today. No, that's not God's business. God is not busy sending angels to that place to punish that one, and to punish that one, and to punish this one. God is not in the business of going about looking for who to punish you. No, God is too big for that. No. He's not so petty. He's not so little. He's full of love. But there are some instances when he cannot help it. And he cannot help it. Not that even when he cannot help it, that he's going to conscience after you and say, now I'm going to catch you. I catch you now. No. That's the idea some of us had, the concept of God that some of us had. And that's why religiosity is killing some of us. And we just become religious, and we live in fear, and we want to do everything like this because we are thinking God is going to get me. No. The laws that you break will get you. You see, the laws have already been set in place. The principles are already set. They work. Before you were born, either you obey it or you don't obey it, they are there. Either you recognize it or you don't recognize it, they are there. So when you violate the principles and the laws of God, you violate yourself. When you break the laws of God, you actually break yourself. That's when you begin to feel the consequences and the pain. It's not that God is chasing after you to punish you. No, you feel the consequences of the laws that you have broken. Because so the consequences come automatically. But because of his love, he gives time So it takes time for some of those laws to actually work and the consequences to be reaped. And that's because of his laws. Because of his love. But eventually, you will see the end result of the laws that are broken. So now, let's talk about love now. When love turns to hate, it's not because God is punishing somebody or anything. It's because some laws and principles have been broken. Let me tell you something about pain and about, because when love turns to hate, that is, talk about pain. That's very painful. And let me tell you something about pain. One thing you should know about pain is this. Pain is an evidence or is a testimony to the fact that a law has been broken. Whenever you experience pain, that is telling you that something has been violated. For example, if I begin to experience headache now, it means something has gone wrong in my system. Maybe I lack some vitamin or some, maybe I'm having bleeding in the head. The headache, therefore, is to let me know that something is wrong. I must fix it. So whenever you're experiencing pain, let's say a break, it means something is gone wrong in that relationship. Something has been broken. A principle has been violated. So when we experience the pain of love turning to hate or love turning to hatred, it means that there is a violation that is happening, taking place behind the scene. It's just like saying, "This is my house now." If water begins to drop from the ceiling, it means that something has been broken over there. So if I even try to patch up this ceiling from here and try to patch it up and put it back, it's not going to solve the problem. I must go to look for the thing that has been broken, you see. If water begins to come out from my floor here now, and it means something, that water is coming from somewhere. I just try to clean it. I could clean it every minute. The water will still keep on coming. There is something that has led to that, water that is coming out. Something has been something has been violated, something has been broken. If I begin to feel pain in my stomach, oh pain, and I'm just taking painkiller. Then I might discover that I'm having a tumor or a growth or anything like that there. Because there is something that needs to be, I must do the diagnosis, I must find out what is wrong. Something is wrong there. That to find out what is causing that pain. The pain, therefore, is just an evidence that something has been violated, something has been broken. So in life as well, and in people relationship as well. So in our people relationships and everyday relationship with people, when we experience things like love turning to hate or love turning to hatred, it means it's not just about that person. But what we do is that because he's the one who caused it, he's the one I'm seeing before me, she's the one, or she's the one, or he's the one, we think he's to blame. And we begin to hate, to go after each other and begin to put blame on people. Nope. A violation has taken place. Look for the principle that has been violated. So one of those principles that makes love to turn to hatred is what I'm talking about today. Love turns to hatred when a principle has been violated. And the principle that I'm talking about today is the principle of idol worshiping. Most of us commit the sin and violate the principle of God that is connected to idol worshiping. And so when God decides to show his mercy to prevent you from idol worship, because idol worship eventually will take you to hell, and to save you from hell, instead of letting your soul go to hell, instead of letting you continue in your own way and your own path that will take you to eternal damnation, for that to be prevented, for you not to eternally perish in hellfire and be separated forever from God, God will allow that thing that has become an idol, that thing that you have allowed in your life to have, that you have allowed to violate the law of God. God will take it, he will remove it, so as to be able to preserve you and save you either on earth or to save you eventually. So let's talk about love. As wonderful as love is, love is great. Love is great. Love is great. Love is precious. I mean, nothing like love. I mean, the love of a father to his children, the love of a mother to the children, the love of a wife to the husband, the love of a husband to the wife, the love of parents to their children, the love of children to their parents, the love of lovers and lovebirds, and the love of, just love makes our world go about. Love. Everything is about love. Love is what making our life to still be existing today. Love is about everything. If we remove love from life, and people don't get to fall in love, and no love for parents and for children, no love. If life is void of love, life is void of life. Without love, there will be no life. Love is about life, and life is all about love. And so nothing as precious as love. Love is wonderful. Love is beautiful. Now, love does not always mean marriage and relationship and between man and woman. Not just love in general. Nothing like love. Nothing like love. Now, as wonderful as love is, I don't need to convince anybody about love. People love love. People like love. People understand what love is. Everybody wants to experience love. The greatest deprivation in life is to be deprived of love. So people know what love is. So I don't need to convince you about love. Love is wonderful. Yes, but as wonderful as love is, all right? As wonderful as love is. Now listen to this. As wonderful as love is, love could be violated as well. And love could not just be violated only, love is often abused. And so let's look at what God says about love. Let's look at what God says about love. Where do I start now? Let's go to Mark, the book of Mark. Mark chapter 12, the book of Mark. Mark chapter 12, verse 30. Verse 30. Mark chapter 12, verse 30, all right? Now, when it comes to love, there are rules guiding love. There are principles that safeguard love. So even when we are talking of love, there are principles guarding it. And if those principles that are guarding love are violated, love will turn to hate. If once you violate the principles that are safeguarding love, or that are surrounding love, or that are supposed to be on which love is built, once you violate that principle, the principle of not loving right, you must know how to love right. Love must be exercised rightly. Even love to your children, even love to your parents, even love to your friends, to your husband, to your children, even any kind of love must be guarded by God's divine understanding and principles. If you violate the principle of love, if you fail to love correctly, you will be punished for it. Not God will punish you. God is not holding a tree and a stick to try to punish you. That the principles that are violated, or the particular principle that is violated, is going to come back as a boomerang to hit you on the face. So now let's examine it. Let's examine the whole thing about love. All right? Mark chapter 12, verse 30 says, "And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength." This is the first commandment, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than this. This is so deep. There is so much in that verse. You can't believe it. There is so much in that verse. I'm tempted to just take off and begin to talk about this verse a lot. But I'm going to discipline myself. And I'm going to face my own topic, why love turns to hate. Now, in that particular verse that we just read, there is a safeguard. There is protection in love. And that protection is clearly stated in that passage. It says, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, too, with all your mind, with all your strength. I mean, please take note about one word there. In all the 4 phrases that I read, there is one commonality there, one word that is common, the word all. It says, and you shall love the Lord thy God. We understand that. People just say, what's the first one? Love the Lord thy God. No. There is, we leave out the safety, the safeguard. And the safeguard says, with all your heart, if you will love God, but not with all your heart, there will be some emptiness there. And that emptiness will be filled with something else. So for something else not to share, not to compete for your heart, because where your heart is, that's where your treasure will be. For your heart not to be stolen, you are needed, you are required. The love for God in your heart must be absolute. Absolute. It must be total. It must occupy your heart 100%. It must be all of your heart to love God. But you see today, you look around, it's hard to find people who love the Lord with all their hearts. I tell you that one. People love God enough to go to church. Yeah. People love God enough to go and give their offering. Yeah. They think they are heroes. Oh, yeah, big deal. But they are not safe. And they are not protected. Because as long as you fail, as soon as you fail to love God with that absolute commitment, as soon as you fail to love God with that totality of commitment, with all your heart, all, and in every department of your life, God demands absolutism. And God demands that absoluteness not just in regards to your heart. It demands that your love for Him will take over your heart, to take over your soul. It will conquer your soul, your emotions, your feelings, your will, your mind. It will take over your soul 100 and absolutely. Now, and that love must go over to your mind and conquer everything as well. Then it will go to your strength and dominate it without leaving a iota of a space. So but you know the way we love God now. We just love God enough for Him to bless us. You put yourself in trouble right there. Boom. You just sank yourself right there. You just finished yourself. When you are really loving God enough, just for Him to be able to bless you now and to be able to show the pastor that I come every Sunday. You are deceiving yourself. You are just deceiving yourself. You are putting yourself in greater problem. Because if you don't love the Lord God with all your heart, magaga bukuduku gugugugu, shengegi gigi, magaga gudu gudu gudu, igegegegegegegegege, magaga garu gudu gudu gudu, igegedu du 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 du, igegegegegegege, mambababa kidiga badu dabu taburu kutuburu kudu kudu, gembeketa baka kabaka buru kudu 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 kudu, gegegegegegege, mambaba kakakaka, asako shokoso, sekata kata kata kata, makasoroyo. May the Lord God save us, open our eyes, give us insight, give us understanding. May the Lord God of heaven throw His light into our mind, into our spirit, into our soul. May He send this illumination for us to have the spirit of understanding, for us to be able to see how He says, to catch His heart and to be delivered from any other thing that is fighting to take over our lives. Well, now let's go back to where we were. Where if you don't love God with all your heart, with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, with all your mind, that is very dangerous. Now, what makes it dangerous? Because a heart cannot be left void, even by 1%. So even if you love God, let's assume, for 99%, but you still have that 1% empty space, something else will come in and just hide inside that 1% place that you are having left. And then it will begin to grow and begin to push for more space and more, control, and, you put yourself in danger. So in love, there is protection. The first protection in love is not even what I'm talking about now. The second thing I'm talking about now is, second protection of love. The first protection of love is this. Listen. The first protection, you say, love God and love your neighbor. But the first protection is in the very first part of, because he said it's just the two are one commandment, the commandment of love. And it says, but the fact first, that commandment that is just one has two parts to it. But the very first part of it is a protection as well. You must love the Lord thy God before you love your neighbor. You see, there are so many people. The problem of Europe today is that they are in humanism. And they want to do everything for man, but they even forgot about God. That is danger, you see. When you begin to love people and leaving God, or loving God just leads to and loving people more, or loving God just people and not loving God, you just miss road. It's like Europe now is becoming totally ungodly. They are going to hell in droves. Why? You cannot fulfill the second commandment without fulfilling the first one now. So you must be, first of all, not just love God alone. That's the first line of defense. So your first line of defense is, you want to love anything, first of all, love God. Then any other thing, you can love your family after that, then you can love your children after that, then you can love your whatever after that. But the kind of love, the second line of defense is, when you begin to love God, you don't just love him to just say, I put a mark there, I just put a, just to, but you can always deceive God. You cannot just, tell him that at least I've showed up and, God can know, he cannot be deceived. You cannot just deceive God anyhow. No, you can't. So when you want to say you love God, the only kind of love that is recognized in heaven, and the only kind of love that will turn and can be converted to treasure for you is only the love that is with all. It didn't say you love me with 90% of your heart. You see, if you read it, it didn't say with half of your heart, or with some of your heart, or with 90% of your heart, or with 30%. No, okay, let's say 75% of your heart. The only thing that it recognizes, heaven only counts with people whose love is absolute. It's not that they will not recognize you as his child or something, or you will not go to heaven, but you will not be protected. Because an idol will come and take the place of that 1%. And it will come and begin to, to push back your love for God. So there are two lines of defense there. The first line of defense is that, first of all, even when you want to talk about love, talk about love for God first. And you see, there are so many people that are loving people, God. They are loving people, they are doing good work, they are doing all that, but they don't even think about God. So that's your first line of defense. Otherwise, because that first line of defense is so important that the danger of that one is hellfire straight. You don't love God, you are just loving anybody. Love anybody you want. Do any kind of kindness you want to do. You go to hell, no break. No go slow at all. no traffic. You just go to hell express. If you just loving everybody, you do anything you want, and you don't love God. So you don't want to raise that one. But then even the ones who are saying they love God, you need that second line of defense. It has to be absolute. You see, there's something I must tell you. In this kingdom, anything that is not absolute doesn't work. It's just like saying you have faith. It is only when your faith is absolute that it works. So, I've told people this example before. I said, when I was a kid growing up in my village in Nigeria, with my grandmother, I was trying to use, because she was not around, and I decided to boil some eggs, because I used to see her boil eggs. But we used to boil egg with firewood in our place. So it depends on how much firewood you put, that the intensity, that determines the intensity of of the fire and of the energy that is being produced. So I just put some firewood, enough to have enough charcoal, just enough charcoal we had, but I didn't have enough. But it was hot enough, because when I put my hand in that in the water, ooh, it's hot. So, but I put my egg inside, the 2 eggs, I put them inside. Ignorance. So I put the egg. So I will come back after, I will be putting the firewood and trying to blow air into the charcoal and make it, and to me it's hot, but I do it for 30 minutes. I said, the thing is not cooked now. I don't think this thing is cooked there at all. So, to cut the long story short, I was blowing that, but by now I know that water was only hot like 60%, 60 degree hot. So to me that is hot. I mean, you try to put your hand in the water of 60, it's hot. So I was like, whew, it's hot. But why is it that those eggs are not boiling? That's what I don't understand. That's what I said. I was there for 3 hours. The first 3 hours, I took one of those eggs, and then, okay, let me just break, because about 30 minutes only. When my grandmother will boil the thing, just in the next 20 minutes or 15 minutes or 30, maximum 30 minutes, even the eggs themselves will be calling to pronounce. It's open, it's cracked, and the shell has cracked, and you've seen it that it's boiled. I mean, it's white, you can see. But this one is not boiled, it's just the way I put it, the way it's made. So I said, I'm just going to take this and I'm going to find out what's that. How can I be doing this for 3 hours? My eyes were red with, flame and all those things. If you have been in the village, you know what I'm talking about. And the flame is all entering my eyes. So after 3 hours of struggling, I said, let me just take one of them. When I put like this, everything just scattered. So this is evil. So this is evil boil. What was this? What kind of water is this one? I thought it was the water, or it was the fire, or what kind of egg is this one? So I just said, okay, let me do another 3 hours. So I was doing another 3 hours for the other. But because I already lost one, I didn't want to raise the other one and lose that one as well. So another 3 hours, I was blowing the fire. I was there for 6 hours. That was how I did it that day. I was so frustrated, and it became a mystery for me. So until I grew up, and now I'm discovering, because even though I was increasing the intensity of the fire, but I will increase it from 20 degrees to 30. Then from 30 degrees to 40. Then I will get to 60 degrees, and then 70 degrees, 80 degrees. The fire was there. So the last one I opened it, the whole inside, only the white one was a little bit thick, but it was not strong enough to even be able to. So I didn't know that one thing with eggs is this. If you have hot water, even if it is 99 degrees, and you put that thing there, the egg inside, the egg doesn't boil though. The only water that boils egg, for it to be boiled, is only when it passes, when it's 100 degrees. When it's 100 degrees, only when water's intense, it has to be absolute. The heat, has to be absolute. Once it is 100 degree, 100%, 100 degree water like that, and you put it, you only need 5 to 10 minutes. The thing is boiled for you. Poo. I killed my day. I killed my eyes. I killed my stomach. I just was suffering. The same thing in this kingdom. So sometimes we only compare our own faith and our commitment to God, our love for God, with other people's love. So we see people all around our churches and our surrounding, and we see that these people, they don't even love God at all. Their own love for God is just about 10%. Then you see other people, they just go to church and pay tithe. Their own love is just 20%. Then you see other people, they sing in the praise and worship. Their own love is 30%. Compare. So we compare with each other and we say, oh, I'm better than everybody. My own is absolute. But your own is just 50 degrees. But you are saying, compared to everybody else, I'm a champion here. I'm the local champion. But in this kingdom, your faith doesn't work. and your love is not counted unless it's 100%. Everything that belongs to God has to be absolute. It is only things that are absolute in this kingdom that work. So when your love for God is not absolute, even though God still recognizes you as his child, even though you are still worshiping God and you are still following him, but you open the door, you are not protected. So you are better than the ones who don't even believe in God in the first place. Okay, the ones who don't believe in God in the first place, they are children of hell. They are going to hell directly. But you that has been born again, you love God, but you are loving him not with absolute surrender. You stand a danger, and I will tell you your own danger. I will not waste time with the one who don't believe in God. Those ones, you know, they are danger. They just die and go to hell. But you that is born again, that is, loving God just as you choose, or comparison to others, but it's not absolute. But you see, God is not a deceiver. If he says it, that is with all. You know, he cannot be lying. And if he says it with all, we'll not just say, okay, let me just do compromise for you. You know, I see that you're dry. He will not do compromise for you. I say, let me just remove this standard and reduce it for you. Then he will be a liar. Then he will be testifying against himself. So it's not that you will not go to heaven, no. It's not that you are not recognized by God. You understand what I'm saying? But what it means is that you are giving, the door is open. You have not protected yourself. If the second line of protection is not there, and what begins to happen? Let me tell you what begins to happen. What begins to happen is that because it is not with all your heart, it is all with all your heart, God is taking you over. You are addicted to God. The love that is absolute is the love that works. The faith that is absolute is the faith that works. Just like that, my egg. If it's not 100 degrees, it will not boil. It could just do all kind of. So you could say, okay, but my own is 90 degrees hot, and it's only just 20 degrees hot. Yes, its own 20 degrees will be there for the rest of eternity. I will not boil. Your own too, that is not 100%, that's 90 degrees, will also not boil. So now, listen closely. That is the reason why I'm talking about this topic. That you should love the Lord thy God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. It's total, absolute commitment God is demanding from us. And that is why what happens is, if you don't love God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. So it means if I'm going to school, I want to go to school so that I will be the best there, so that whatever knowledge I get, I am going to use it only for him. That's absolute. So, for example, I want to love. If I want to marry or something, the reason I want to do anything, I want to do it just for him and for his glory. If I'm going to job, I want to go to that work today only to be able to find a way of manifesting him and glorifying him and fulfilling its agenda. If I wake up in the morning, the only reason why I even wake up in the first place is to be able to live that day for him and to be able to fulfill his desire for my life that day. The only reason I do any single thing at all is because I want to use. I could still be enjoying myself in the process, but the whole underlying reason is for him. Even if I go for holidays, even that in that holidays, I still want to use it to glorify his name. Even if I'm eating in the restaurant, I'm still doing that. Using that time to convert to things that will glorify. So that's when you are absolutely. It's the only reason for everything. Because that's what he said in Colossians 1. He said he created all things for him, by himself and for himself. Even you, he created you only for himself. So it's not about ready to begin to argue with anybody or with you and say, okay, he created everything, including you, only for one reason, for himself. So what are you doing then? You didn't create yourself now. Nobody has created you for any other assignment. He's the one who created you. He has a reason why he did that. And he said the reason is for himself. So what are you doing? What are you now doing? So that's why it has to be absolute commitment. But when our love is not absolute, the danger we stand is this. We begin, if you are pastors, You get to a place as a pastor when you discover that you are falling in love because there is a place there. Even though you love God, you are a pastor, but you get to a place where you begin to enjoy the church, and you begin to have love for the ministry. Even though you are saying you are doing it for God, though, but the love for the ministry, for church, for people will begin to enter your heart. And before you know it, you don't even know which one you love most first. You love most anymore. Is it God or is it the work? Is it people or is it church or is it God himself? You don't even know anymore. That is the danger. When it's the love to him and for him alone is not absolute, you will not even realize when many other things become idols. When idols begin to come and take over your heart, you will not even know. I know. Okay, for example, let me just give you an example here. Can you believe it that when I began to tell people that I was leaving Ukraine and going back to Africa, I'm telling you, even big men, even respected men of God, I'm not just talking of Christians, I'm talking of respected men of God. They are telling me, how can you do that? How can you do that? But you have given your life to building this church. 30 years. I've been living here for 30 years. 30 years building ministry. And you just give it to somebody like that. You say, so once you get to that place that you cannot walk out or walk away from something, that is a sign for you that you are no more the one owing that thing. That thing is now owing you. That is a sign for you that it's no more God. Even if you are saying it's God I'm building it for, it's God, of course, you can explain anything you want for yourself. You can convince yourself or others with anything you want. But if you cannot walk away from that thing and just forget it, and not even put somebody to be controlling and be manipulating people. But if you are not ready to walk away like that, even if it will mean that you will never go back there again, you should be ready just to be in love with him and be satisfied or alone with the fact that you have him. If you cannot do that, of course, we don't say you should do that. Of course, you should still put your system in place, your structure in place. But in your heart, I'm talking of heart, you must be able to be willing to do that. If you are not able to do that, and you know what? Many pastors are still pastors today. My colleagues who are supposed to have walked away for a long time, because you will not be able to obey God. You will not be able to do even other instructions that God is giving you to do because you are so consumed by the love, not for God anymore. But you are thinking, you are convincing yourself that it's love for God. But it's already love for, the position, love for glory, love for the comfort, love for the comfort zone, love for yourself. It could be anything. And, if you really love yourself, if you really love God, you must always work on getting your heart circumcised, getting yourself detached from things from time to time. Like that's what I was telling you people the other time, that even with my wife, we came to a place where we had to make an agreement among ourselves that, you should give me, she had to give me up to God. You should just assume that I could die at any time. Because if I'm not ready to die, I won't have been able to do what I've done in Ukraine here. You cannot even change a nation if you are not ready to die. So if you hold on to your life, that's why Jesus said, unless you deny yourself and your father, your mother, and everything, even he said he hates, unless you hate your father, what is he talking about? It's about this thing. So you must not have anything taking that place of all your heart, all your soul. That place of absolutism must not be, you must not even give place for it. So when you don't have that absolute love, when you don't have that total, commitment, and total, you will be compromised, you will be having the danger of being compromised all the time. And, I know my colleagues, to many pastors, ministry or church, Islam become an idol. Any other thing that you love so much that you cannot give up for God is an idol. Anything that you cannot give up, even if it is your wife, you cannot give up and just walk out. I don't say I believe in divorce or make you not go and change my word. But I'm saying if there are, there are some people that will walk out of ministry or even walk out of God because of they don't want to lose their wife or they don't want to lose their husbands or they don't want to lose their family. You don't think people do that. But if you are not ready to lose my wife, that's what I'm saying to you now. That even with my wife, we have to come to a place where I would say, you should be ready to lose me. And she has assumed that, she could lose me at any time. So you must be ready for that. And I have assumed that I can lose her at any time. Let me make it worse. We have 3 kids. Our children know we have gathered them together. You can lose all. What about if we lose the 3 of them at one day? We will still love God. We will still continue. We have already released them already. They know about it. And they have also been told to release their father and their mother. We have made that agreement. That is what it means. In this kingdom, that is what it means to be totally in love. God is the only one you should not be able to lose. If you are afraid of losing anything or you are not even ready, you must get yourself to have gotten to that place when you are ready, when you have already done it, even before it happens. And that is the only time, that's the only guarantee for it not to happen in the first place. Because it says if you are not willing to let something go, if you are not willing to lose your life for my sake, then you will lose it. Anything you are not ready to lose for the sake of God, you will lose it. But anything you are holding on to is an idol and you will lose it. So that is what makes love to turn to hatred. Love begins to turn to hatred when God begins to see deep in your heart that you are now falling in love. You have now exalted and elevated love for your husband to a place. Of course, you are still going to church every Sunday. You are still singing, praise and worship, and still giving tithe and offering. But deep in your heart, your strength is that your husband, though. Deep in your heart, your pillar, your life is that your spouse or your husband or your wife or it's your family. So at the end of the day, you are even getting and deriving more joy and satisfaction from maybe your house or from your family or from your children than even from God or by himself. So what does that mean? You don't even realize it because these things are so subtle. That is idol right there. So anything that is giving you more reason for joy. I mean, like me, in my own life, I know it. And I'm ashamed of saying this and a little bit embarrassed, but I think I should just tell you. You know, I've been under false accusation, all kind of ridiculous. Communists and KGB have been fighting me, coming up with different stories and all that. And I've been in court for the past 8 years. My wife will tell you this, and even my church will tell you. I got to a place in ministry that I was so satisfied. I was absolutely fulfilled. And I got everything. I was so relaxed. I didn't even know. I was even telling my wife, the princess, let's leave Ukraine now. She said, why? I mean, everything is going for us. Everything is just perfect. I said, we have to leave. That was 10 years ago. I said, God, I feel that God is telling me that if you don't leave now, at the height of everything, that we are going to we are going to encounter such a problem that we will not leave, but we should be ready to pay the price. So my wife will testify to this. My wife said, we cannot leave. I said, okay, President, we will not leave. But right now that I told you that God told me that we are going to fall into so much problem, and even at the point I was asking God, where is the problem? Let it come, because I couldn't live because my wife was saying I cannot live with the children now. They are in school. Where would they? I don't want to take them away from school. Then go to another country, another language, another culture. I don't want us to live. Okay, we will not leave. But I was so I enter into a comfort zone. Comfort zone when everything was good, everything was okay. I was already even anticipating that something horrible must happen. Some bad things must happen because I'm even afraid of the comfort and of the success and of the glamour. And because I knew it was out of my hand, and I knew that was the only thing that was going to save me and my family and my ministry. So even though I feel terrible pain and terrible misjustice, or what do you call it? Injustice. Terrible injustice in what has been happening to me. But you know, one hair of your head will not even fall down to the ground if God will not allow it. God's hands is in it. It is when God loves you. You know, I'm going to say some things that are going to sound very harsh. You know, some people have lost their spouses, their husbands in ministry. Or you might not be ministry, Christians. You just see that young man, 30 years or 50 years old, died. You know why? That person has become the source of life in that family. Even though everybody is still praying to God, though, but God is just like 50%, 50-50 or 80%. When the love for God is not absolute, it gives room to idol worshiping, and you don't even know it. When somebody refuses to leave his church or to give it up, God will stir up a problem in that ministry because of love, just to be able to, because there will be hate. That love that church was having for that church, that pastor, is going to turn to hate. Why? Because God wants to preserve that person. You know, he wants to preserve you from idol worshiping. He will even take your husband away. Why? So that he himself will go to heaven and you yourself will go to heaven too. He will even take your child away. Oh, as horrible as this is sounding now, he will even allow maybe to get sick or to die or something, so that you will get back to a place where you are supposed to be. Let me prove that to you. You don't need to believe me. You don't need to believe me. Let me go to Exodus. Exodus 20. From verses 1 to 5. And God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord your God. Because this is the first commandment. God does not want you to entertain anything in your heart apart from me. And that's why I say, when you want to love me, make sure it is absolute from beginning. If it is with all your heart, then you are protected. Then you are safe, you secure yourself. But when you don't do it with all your heart from the beginning, things find that they are way into our lives and our heart, and they take us over. So that's what it's saying here. I'm the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. No other gods. No other gods before me. Now, verse 4. You shall not make for yourself, you say. For yourself. Don't even put yourself ahead or your desire ahead at all. That's why Jesus said, even if you don't hate your father, and even yourself, you've got to deny yourself. You know, there are some things that I can give you everything, or I give up everything, but this one is my own. This one is for myself. Don't make yourself yourself. I keep this for myself. You take everything, but this is my own family, my child, my wife, my children. No, this one is just what I like. It's my weakness. Everything is for you, but it's my own. Sometimes it's not death, you say. Sometimes if it's your child that you put like that, it will just go wayward like that. If you love your child too much, to the place that is becoming that place of idol worshiping, if it's redemptive, if it is still redeemable, what do you call it? Redeemable. If it is still redeemable, you will not die. That child could just go crazy, not crazy, like you will just be disobedient. From being, you just become wayward because it's still redeemable. God will, through that problem with that child, you might humble yourself and come back to the place of God's priority. Or maybe your business has been the center of your life, it has become an idol. If it is still redeemable, you begin to have problems, so that problem will drive you to the place of absolute love for God. Then that's okay. But if it's no more redeemable, it will just collapse everything. It just, even you die, your child, that child will die. Maybe that is the thing that will get some of us. So he said, you shall not make for yourself. See, it's all about ego. What makes us to love things more than more than God? What makes us to love things, to put things in a priority? How another way you could know if you love anything more than God is, what is it that will take number one place in your life every single second? What are the decisions you are taking? Are your decisions always in consideration of God's priority first? I don't think so. It's the priority of my family, myself, my this, my that, my children. We don't put God as our priority. And that's why God, when he loves us, he allows things to happen to drive us back. That's how love. That's why the love between your children and yourself might just turn to hate. The love between yourself and your colleagues might just turn to hate. The love between you and your members might just turn to hate. The love between you and your family and relatives might just turn to hate. Why? Thank God that love can turn to hate. Otherwise, we would have just have our own little idols, every one of us, in our own homes. And we'll go to hell. So, you shall not make for yourself. It's all about me. It's all about ego. Carved image, any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, it doesn't matter where. Only God has to have that supreme absolute place. That's why it doesn't matter heaven above, earth beneath, or water under. You shall not have any other thing that you love more than me. Because when you love anything more than God, when you put anything before God, you are bowing down before them. That's worship. Anything that is your priority is what you worship. Anything that's your priority is what is your idol. Anything that you give yourself in obedience to is your idol. Especially when it's money. You shall not bow down to them and worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, you see. Because God is a jealous God. Love for God has to be, first of all, absolute in your heart. With all your heart, your soul, and your might. Your might. Then you can love any other thing after that. Then, he said, if you don't do that, he says, and you will begin to curse. He said, I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation. Punishment things begin to fall apart. But showing mercy to those who love me. You see, it's about love. Nothing is superior to love. Loving him. But how do you love him? Jesus helps us out. You've got to love him with all. So I want you to examine yourselves now, every one of you, and see what is it that you might have loved or adore more than God himself. What are those things? How many of those things have you exalted in your life more than God? And can you really openly tell God that your love for him is absolute? That you love him with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might, and with all your mind. Can you really tell God that it is a total love affair with him? Are you really sure of that? Well, everybody's got to ask. The good thing about God is that he has ways, many ways of bringing you back into feelings. Into teaching you valuable lessons. So, when Jesus said, I didn't come with, I came with sword. They said, I didn't come with peace. Some people say, I just bring peace, peace, peace. No. Jesus is not just about peace. Yes, he brought peace, the Prince of Peace. But he also said there are some instances where I bring sword. You know what that sword means? He said, I bring sword among wife and husband, father and mother, children. Why? Because anywhere where there is love, where there is attachment, you are attached to your mother and father, or your mother or father, more than you are attached to it brings sword. It brings separation. That's what happens. When you love your child more than him, he said, I bring sword. I didn't bring peace. So whenever there is a love that is greater than for the absolute God, the total God, the God Almighty, whenever there is any attachment, whenever you are attached to any other thing beside God, it brings sword and not peace. To cut between you and anything that you are loving more than the Creator. That's why I say I didn't just. So he brings sword. Sword. They said between husband and wife there are problem. Between father and mother. Between children. Why? Because where there is, because those are the closest people to you. That's why he mentioned those ones, because they are the closest people to you. They are the people that will stand the danger of loving beyond everything else. And when you love them beyond anything else, everything else like that, they are the ones that are. That's when you stand the danger of they become idol to you. Your children, your parents, your spouse. That's why I said it brings sword in that particular situation, so as to bring that separation, so that you'll be attached more to God than to man. Well, here we are. That's it for today. That's it for today. So if you can go and share the link. If you have not shared the message yet, go and look for the share button under your video, and let's go and share let's share the message, and maybe it will be a blessing to somebody else. Someone needs to be saved and delivered from idol worshiping, and who knows? So maybe somebody will see this program on your timeline, and to help them to get delivered from idol worshiping. So. Yeah, let me read some of your comments before we go. So when you share the link as well, please don't forget to put your remark and put a word or two there for your people to be able to read and respond. Olubusola Ado.
That's my wife.
Because I was just saying, because I just met one Adum today. I was about to say, that's why I read that name out first. Your husband day here, Sister Busola. Your husband is sitting right here in my room here. Make you come. Let me show you to your. Tell us who you are, man of God.
My name is Femi Adun, and I'm having privilege of a lifetime to be with one of my heroes and mentors of years, Pastor Sunday. Just being here with him has just been an amazing shift in my mentality and in my life. And I'm just grateful to God, for this God's general and this gift to the body of Christ. Thank you for the privilege.
Say hi to your wife now.
Baby, I love you. This is God. God all the way.
I've been hearing all day about your family, and I've been looking at your pictures and your wonderful. Thank you for letting your husband come to Ukraine. Thank you, sir. Thank you, man of God. Okay, who is there now? What do we say? All right, small world. You say small world. That's how things happen. All right. Let me see what you guys are writing there. Mary Mugure say, ooh, it's painful. There goes the pain of separation. God help me. Oluwafunmi say, God cannot tolerate any rivalry. That is true. Tiwa is saying, Please, it's better to just love God. Just love God by himself. Just love God, not to run into trouble. Yes. It's better to just love God, though. It will save you from a lot of headache. I bet you that well. Lola Shorunke said, now I understand what Jesus meant by he brought the sword. Yeah. Elizabeth Ali said, wow, Pastor, I don't think I will recover from this one. Eucharia says, nothing shall separate us from the love of God. That's what it means. Yeah, now you got it. It will not wife, not children, not ministry, not church, not success. There is nothing that should separate you from the love of God. And when you begin to see that and he loves you, you just take the thing away. Why should the thing he has blessed you with now become the one that will now become your idol that you are worshiping? He just comes and removes it. Doesn't care. Is this a child or a husband or a ministry? He just comes and removes the thing just for you to be saved. So, because of idol worshiping, God makes love to turn to hate. Obina is writing something. Say, Shai Odogu. I don't think that should be Igbo language. I don't think I understand that Odogu. Okay. Lara says, any attachment besides God, there is a sword that will come to detach it. I got it. You got it. Valerie said, thank God for you, sir. Thank you. Olabusola said, God bless you for that word, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And thank you again for letting your husband come. Ojekwa Israel, very expository. Thank you, sir. Dorothy Dora, God is first in my life. Yes, that's what it's after. Oluwa Fumilayo, God wants the all of me as he has given me the all of himself. You got it. He has given you his best and he wants your best now. Adeleke say, thank you, Pastor. We will get there. I'm blessed tonight. Christina Lampe, God protect our heart from idol worshiping. You see, that is why the problem, the kind of gospel that people preach in our churches today are very dangerous. Like, for example, like I've always told you the story of my pastor, my assistant pastor that went with me to Nigeria. And we were in Nigeria for 5 weeks. And this man, after 3 weeks of being in Nigeria, just sat in the hotel. I said, I'm not going to any church again. I said, what's the problem? You backslid in Nigeria here? You are a pastor now. He said, no, it's not about backsliding, pastor. He said, if you had preached this kind of gospel that we are hearing here in Nigeria to us in Ukraine, you wouldn't have had the kind of church you have. I said, what? He said, because everything here in this Nigeria is about man. Everything is about what God will do for you, what God will bless you with, what you should do for God to bless you, what you should do for God to bless you, what you should do to get your breakthrough, what you should do to get your healing, what you should do. So nobody is telling me, okay, well, I don't need healing. I don't need breakthrough. I don't need, miracle. I don't need anything. I just want to come to church for somebody to tell me who God is and how can I get to love him better, how to know him better. But I've been here for 3 weeks to 5 weeks now. There is nobody. We've gone to all the great churches. We didn't hear anywhere. He said, nobody has preached about God. I said, what do you know? They have not preached about God. They are preaching about, is it not God? He said, they are using God, using the name of God, talk about God, so that people will get what they need. It's idol worshiping church. Idol worshiping churches is what we have. We don't have churches almost anymore. 90% of our churches are idol worshiping churches. Churches that are only about you. So that's why catastrophe is full in that country. That's why problems, even all the testimonies you hear, it's not about God testimony, it's about me. So we are the center, we are the idol of our own life. We have lost the gospel, we have lost touch with God. And that's the kind of thing God wants to restore. So, people don't know why they are in crisis. And they are doing more things to get more things for themselves. And even pastors, churches now is all being organized in such a way so that it will be about yourself. So that we will have more idols. But when we get born again, it's supposed to be to deny yourself. That you are supposed to remove yourself from the throne of your life. So that he will be now everything that's about your life. But now, pastors are now making you to come back to that throne again and just make God to be supplying you. that is the false gospel that is now being preached, unfortunately, in our pulpits. Okay, Joy Praise, say thank you for this insight. Joseph Oyewole, division, the sword of separation is to bring division between you and anything that you love above him, any superficial love. And you were doing everything in the name of God. We are people bringing the idol in the name of God. We are installing the idol in our own heart in the name of God. And we'll be giving offering and be giving tithe and say it's God who is doing it. But perfect love will cast out all those things. Comfy ears say, yes, I do love the Lord. Thank you, Pastor Sunday. See you tomorrow. Anastasia McDonough, thank you, Pastor, for revealing the heart of the Father regarding idol worshiping and the actions we need to take. Ugo says, Chai, Pastor Sunday Adelaja, you have scattered my idol worshiping idol. God have mercy. Thank you so much. Sarah Irene, wish you a blessed night. Gift Amos. Jesus said, if you must love him, you must be the enemy of the world. Yetunde said, I'm so scared now, Dr. Adelaja. I don't know if I have idolized anything, anyone. Help me, oh God. Tatiana is saying, this word is cutting me to pieces. Timothy is saying, Adum, I know you from Osu. This is Timothy Jayola. Well, Nkiru says, okay. Ojekwa says, okay. Let's see. Lesia says, Watson, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Phyllis Meek, sometimes all I can say is yikes, because I cannot process all thoughts in my heart. Olubusola said, God bless your heart real big, Adam. Great welfare, Femi say, thank you very much, my mentor and father in the Lord. Mrs. Adun said, we love and appreciate you, sir. My children are screaming out here, saying a big hello. I'm falling in love with your children. In fact, I even asked your husband to send the photograph of your children to me, or your family in general to me. So that's how much I'm impressed. Bobo saying, wow, yet another one of your bitter pills to swallow, but 100% truth. We thank God for you. I have to come to Ukraine to see you. Darlene Madu says, sir, it is really scary. Princess Gildov say, wow, Pastor, you know how to finish me with laughter. I can't feel my voice anymore from shouting. Oh, God is really using you, sir. Splinter Zappa say, I can't understand what that is saying. Obina said, don't love her more than God. Yes, you shouldn't love anything more than God. Thank you. We should follow Abraham's example. The word said, this is really hard message. E.K. Victor say, you don't hide the truth even when it's against. God bless you, sir. Ike Iruka said, God has been my first love and I will always put him first forever. Joan Sanusi said, I've experienced this firsthand. I did not answer the call at 18 years and had to go all through to answer the call at 45. Wow. Chris Ogedengbe, hello, Pastor Chris. Awesome, life-changing, highly impactful. Thank you, sir. We love you dearly. Nkiru say, Chai, Pastor, we are full of those idols, but we are getting delivered small by small by this message. We love you, Lord. Joseph Oyewole said, thanks a million, sir. Very profound. Join late, but you summarize my life story. Wow. You are just a living legend, sir. I appreciate your ministry so much. Yomi Olofin. God has been my number one from the beginning of my life. Thank God. Princess, I can understand when God says he does not want to share his glory with anybody. He created us for himself. Ike Ruka, thanks Pastor for opening our eyes the more. I'm blessed. Elizabeth, Pastor, after all I have been through, God is my number one and my queen. Frenzy cool. This is really insightful. Joseph, self-oriented and self-centered churches that don't give preeminence to the love of God, they are idol-worshiping churches, right? Busola Adun said, yes, sir, the message of the kingdom is no more the focus anymore. People preach on any other thing but the kingdom. T.Y. Sanctify my heart, O Lord. I don't even get power, or God take your place in my life. Justin Mayo said, it is so true, Pastor. Yetunde said, he will never share his glory with anyone, loving him absolutely from now on. Nothing can come in between me and the love for the Almighty. I dey fear so though, because if heavenly sword drops, no doctor fit treat am. Now I'm so ready to let go. Thank you so much, sir. This message is from me. I've got a story to tell. Wow. Yeah, Bemi Orekoya said, yeah, some have become earthly irrelevant. Oyinye said, wow, this message is too deep. God bless you, sir. Gladys Nwosu said, not only in Nigeria, sir, also in Europe, the churches are more traditional and self-interest. Yvonne said, God have mercy, Lord, more of you, all about you. Let nothing stand between me and you and I. Dorothy Tyler, Pastor, you are so right. The bad habit we pick up phone first thing when we wake up to check WhatsApp is very terrible. I repent so. Oh God, this journey is not easy, only by your grace. Gregory said, thank you, my father, my mentor. I'm free now. Ebe Yenoku said, Bagam, God bless you, sir, for the truth. I don't know what is Bagam. Francis said, thank God for this great man of God. Olusegun said, well said, sir. It's not only Nigeria, it is a state of perilous time. It is a state of perilous times. Lara says, to know him is the essence of the church, no more, no less. The knowledge of him reveals who we are to us correctly. Yeah, Marianne says, churches now have become sophisticated idol-worshipping states in disguise. Princess says it's about how many churches the pastors can plant, how many members they can get, and which countries they can say they have representatives. May God help us, sir. Flair Karim Matif said those kind of preachings are using like bait to attract people in churches. Once you go there and believe in it, disillusionment comes in your life. Joy Praise said it was when I got to UK that my eyes opened. Christianity in Nigeria is idol worshipping. Thank you for this truth today. God bless you, sir. Prudence says, I cannot wait to see this real good news spread across Africa to remove the people from bondage of idol worshipping. Thank you, Pastor. Layo Shouts Emmanuel, very profound, absolutely deep, and almost scary to accept. But then I've been listening to you saying the same thing for some time now, so I'm able to grasp the truth better and better every day. Finally, I'm giving up my idols, which are none other than my family. Wow. Gift Amos, if you love God, you must give up what you love most for him. Christina Lampe, we are journalists of God, broadcasting. We must teach the truth for him. Pia said, thank you. They are good words. Adebayo said, this message has opened the depth of my heart to examine my relationship with him thoroughly and sincerely. Bemi Orekoya says, the meaning of to love God has been demystified in Nigeria. Thank God for the revelation. Joanne Sanusi said, I wanted to experience life before God. He allowed me go through hell. Wow. Koye just said, therefore, anything God does for me is not for me, but to magnify himself and draw all men to himself. Very deep inside. Layo shouts, and to think that Miles Monroe's children actually lost their parents in one day and they are still fulfilling purpose. It didn't end their lives. Honestly, we almost give up our idols. John Sanusi said, now God is first in my life. God is my all now. Like Moses, it took me almost 30 years to find out what seeking the kingdom of God means. Ojolakwe said, thank you, sir, for this deep truth. I have always wondered why Jesus was always saying, keep it to yourself, tell no one, and why Jesus made himself of no reputation. Total love for God. Wow. Nkiru said, you know what, sir? Just watching the way you treat people here on this platform speaks volume. I learned through all you do, not only what you say. Thank you, sir. Yes. Gift blessings, say my mentor. God bless you and strengthen you and your wife, because behind every successful man is a woman. Splinter Zappa, I think okay, Splinter Zappa is talking about Lolke. He's one of the Splinter Zek, where with you, we respect you, we only question everything to learn knowledge. Okay, no problem. If you say you know Lolke and he's a normal person, only other people are complaining about him, that's why I block him. But if it's okay, I'm going to unblock him tonight. So tell him that I will unblock him, he could come back. Only other people were complaining about some of the things he was asking. So if it's okay, I will unblock him and he will come back today. Or I will unblock him tonight. He will come back tomorrow morning. Princess says, Pastor, I just want to say a big thank you, sir. And just know that you are the best. Thanks for sharing your knowledge of the kingdom of Christ with us. God bless you, sir. Shashal says, now I understand all the losses. It was God's sword in action. In the last 5 years, the Lord stripped me of everything. All I have left is him. What a blessing. Thank you, Lord. Yetunde said, I thank God for your life, Dr. Adelaja. I can't imagine how enlightened and uninformed I would have been if I didn't meet you. Wow. Ewe so omoalare. Yeah, that's my language right there. More grace for greater exploits in Jesus' name. Ugo Emeka said, there are some guys who seem lost and would need your attention. They posted some distracting information while you were teaching, sir. Could you kindly ask someone to reach out to Splinter and talk? Yeah, those are the people I was just talking about now. Jumbo, Pastor, you have delivered us. This teaching ends with you so heavily, and this teaching ends with you sowing heavily, heavenly, and in return, God blesses you heavily too. We never knew it's idolatry worshiping from the churches in Nigeria. Thank you for saving us from this mess, Pastor. God bless you, sir. Deacon Morris, loving God above all else, even above yourself. Therefore, love is not theory, but practical demonstration, right? Flair, I need to love God more than everything. I don't want the loss of love to call me to order. It is too hard. I learned everything tonight. Thank you, sir. Elizabeth says, Pastor, I love you so much. Thank you. Molly said, I'm now free in Jesus' name. Wow, 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 wow. Well, our time is up. You all know our time is up. It's almost 30 minutes overboard. So thank you so much for today. And I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:30 in the morning Nigerian time and 7:30 in the morning British time. 8:30 in the morning European time and 2:30 in the morning US Eastern time. And then in the evening tomorrow I'll be back the same time. So Edwin also say, Pastor, we will also be careful not to idolize you. Brilliant, brilliant. You got the message. You got the message. All right. So thank you so much for that. Okay, let me read from Mrs. Adu. Wow, what an honor to be connected to you at such a time as this. We are so truly humbled and privileged, sir. Thank you for extending your hand of fellowship to our family, and a blessing listening to you. My honor, my dear. My honor. God bless you, Yeah. I'm going to be expecting you here, but unfortunately, I'm going to leave you very soon. But still, while I'm still here, we'll be expecting all of you soon. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Blessings.